For several reasons, which I've documented in another video, I took a substantial break away from creating comic book content, about 9 months or so. And while I was away, I actually had a number of people reach out to me for a variety of reasons, asking to buy all or part of my comic book collection. I even had someone ask about buying the channel itself. To be honest, I'm not quite sure how Regie Collects works if there's no Regie, but that's maybe a story for a different day. To all of those people that reached out asking to buy all or part of my collection, my answer was always the same. I am not interested. And in this video, we are going to talk a little bit about why I said no to those offers and potentially why you also shouldn't sell your comic book collection. Stay tuned. Regie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As I mentioned in that brief intro, multiple people have reached out asking to buy all or part of my comic book collection, and my answer to them was always the same. No, thank you. I am not interested in doing that. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about the reasons why I didn't want to sell and potentially why you also shouldn't sell. But with that said, this is not financial advice. At the end of the day, your collection, your money, do what you think is right. Do not take financial advice from some guy creating content on YouTube. The reasons why these people reached out to buy the collection aren't all that relevant for the purpose of this conversation. I think what's more relevant is the reasons why I decided not to sell. And I think the first reason is that I didn't need the money. Rest assured that if I need money to provide for my family, to pay bills, to get myself out of debt, I will absolutely sell my collection. It'll hurt, but I will absolutely sell it because there are other things that are more important in life. But I didn't need the money, and so it did not make sense to actually sell the collection in part or in whole. Now, that isn't to say that I didn't sell some comics while I was away. The same way that I've sold comics for the last 7 years, I continue to do a little bit of that on Whatnot, on Instagram, and on my personal website, regiecollects.com. I continue to do that, but that was me just continuing to do what I've always done. Another big reason why I wasn't interested in selling my collection is because of ebb and flow. Ebb and flow with life and ebb and flow in terms of comics being an investment or an asset. I was away for 9 months. I was in an ebb. I had other things that I needed to focus on. And now potentially I'm in a flow where I'm back. And I am enjoying comic book content creation all over again. I'm reading more comics than I've read over the last couple of months. I'm buying comics as well. So I am back in it. And so when I took a step away, I didn't know that I was going to come back, but I also knew that I wasn't necessarily done with the hobby. And so it doesn't make sense in my mind to purge something that you might later regret when you come back to that thing. It will not necessarily be the same if you sell everything off. So it didn't make sense from that standpoint. From the financial standpoint, I believe that comic books are an asset. They're not just an asset, but they are an asset that can be sold, and you can make money selling comics. And so right now, a lot of people may be seeing that the value of their comics and their collectibles have actually decreased. There's an ebb, there's a flow. When the values are depressed, that might not be the ideal time to actually sell that thing, because potentially in the future, and we don't know what the future holds, the value of that item could actually go up. I'm not selling my Bitcoin when its value drops. I'm not selling other cryptocurrency when their values drop. I'm potentially buying more, but that's, again, a story for a different day. But the same holds for stocks and other things. There is an ebb and a flow, and it doesn't make sense to sell things unless you have to when their values are decreased. So one of the other reasons why I didn't sell the collection is because I have this vision for myself later in life. At some point, I am going to retire, and I'm going to need something to channel my energies into, and potentially one of those things will be comics. Maybe I'll buy an old van and load it up full of comics and drive around from con to con, selling books and engaging with the comic book community. Maybe I'll set up a comic shop in my garage or some warehouse. I don't quite know what it's going to be, but I believe that it will happen at some point. And the last point that I'll make here is that I've already written my comic book collection into my will, and a lot of the books will go to my children, and they can do what they want with those books. My hope is that they will develop an appreciation for comics and will want them, maybe not. Maybe they will get them and just turn around and sell them and buy something else that they want. That too is okay. By that point, I will probably have reduced the collection to something a little more manageable than what it is right now. But at the end of the day, it personally did not make sense for me to sell my collection. You could be in a different situation. Maybe you are of a similar thought. I honestly don't know. But I at least wanted to throw this out there for consideration. With that said, I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I definitely want to encourage you to give the video a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, I definitely want to encourage you to do that as well. Take care. So as I finished up the editing process on this video, I realized that it was missing two things. I was missing a New Year's message. So Happy New Year's to you and to yours. But it was also missing a note of thanks. After being gone for a period of time, the community has welcomed me back. You guys have been watching my videos. You've been leaving comments behind on videos. People have been sending me DMs and also even text messages just thanking me for coming back to create content. But I honestly have to thank you all. I have to thank you for welcoming me back, but then also engaging with the content all over again. It is one thing for me to create a video, and it's another for people to actually watch those videos and to leave comments. And all of that is appreciated. I also have to say thank you to all of the previous sponsors of the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks to all of the Patreon members, all the folks that supported me for all these years. I absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. With that said, take care.
Big city dreams, but that's a small town thing. I thought the big city life was the only way you could be crowned king.